Today, we should be discussing on something that has been deliberated and thought a lot of times before. Well, you guessed it right, mental health among teens.
Peace of mind is something that is very desirable, and which is exactly why I think it is extremely important to revisit the topic. So let's move on.
To start out, if you ask me the one thing that I saw the most on social media this time around, or this quarantine, be it Instagram, be it Facebook, be it WhatsApp, statuses, or the motto that has been spread this quarantine has been to stay healthy and fit.
But often in this state, these social medias promote body standards that are unrealistic and often which asks a lot out of these teenagers. Not only that these teenagers fall prey to eating disorders, but the inability to achieve these standards often leave them very frustrated, isolated, and left out from groups. Let us analyze how decisive has social media been in setting up such idealistic body standards and in its failure in normalizing body variations.
Social media is a powerful revolution that has changed our lives all around. It has made it easy to connect to our family members, friends, and relatives on a real time basis. Social media is an important part of the lives of young people around the world. They are spending so much of their time on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, etc. According to the researchers, these platforms are predominantly or entirely image based. People, especially youngsters, tend to curate their social media feeds in order to present the best version of themselves on social media. Some people may be more vulnerable to the effects of social media than others, as well as attractive images. There is a trend on social media to post fitspiration images, which are designed to motivate people to exercise and eat healthy. Although these images may motivate people towards a healthier lifestyle, viewing these images can also increase people's body dissatisfaction, particularly when people, especially women, compare their body to the thin and lean bodies in these images. Appearance comparisons are a key factor in the link between social media usage and body image concerns. So, according to me, I believe that media literacy programs has to be introduced in schools in order to give an awareness or to educate the young people about the appropriate use of social media and to give them an awareness that the social media platforms may not reflect reality all the time.
Well, moving on. What has been that one thing that has haunted the lives of teenagers? The one thing that has driven their lives? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward. Expectations. It's the expectations from your parents, from your peers, your neighbors, your relatives to perform well, to perform consistently. And when you're unable to do so, they start forming all these opinions. And that's exactly when these people say, he's falling off track, he's been distracted, and so on and so on. The very moment in life when the parents have to be the biggest supporters of these children, they turn out to be their nemesis. And that's exactly why the next question becomes all the more important. How far does the failure to achieve academic excellence instill suicidal thoughts among children?
Hello. So, to your question on the role of social media in bringing suicidal thoughts in children, my opinion is we cannot blame the social media or any platform for that matter for creating a suicidal thought. It's all in the physical world. If a child or if someone is deprived of appreciation or good relationships in the physical world, then naturally they will seek appreciation or comments or likes or followers in the virtual world. It's not the problem with the virtual world. It's a problem with the real world. So once someone receives that sort of an appreciation or good relationships in his or her own life, then there won't be this sort of a dependency in the virtual world.
Once been asked, what's the most important thing in a relationship? A wise man replied, communication. Well then, why do parents feel that their children are changing? That their children are not opening up to them anymore? Or have they found someone else to open up things to? Our Indian society in particular has set up certain stereotypes and certain taboo on things that you can discuss with your parents and things that you cannot. This often leads children bottling up their anxieties and in a state where they're not in peace with themselves. How can parents create a conducive environment for children to share things with them?
Hi, my name is Sivakeerthi. How can parents create a conducive atmosphere for the children to share their feelings rather than bottling them up? A relevant question indeed. The parents and the peer group are the most important elements that helps in the development of a child's character. The parents not only help them create an identity but also helps them create confidence and determination. As parents, we should always consciously create a productive atmosphere that will lead to an interactive process for the children, through which the children will be able to share their feelings, emotions, concerns, doubts, worries, madness, and whatnot. This process doesn't happen in a single step. It is a long process. The best way to do this is to grow with them. Make them feel really important for the family. Whenever an important decision is made for the family, take their opinion. This will not only make them feel respected, but also help them feel independent and responsible. Let them make their mistakes at home. Let them feel free to share those mistakes with us. Let us be the first person that they always want to run when they are in trouble. As parents, the easiest way is, as I said, is to grow with them. The usual saying, as we say, a parent is born when a child is born, and let them grow together. If we are ignoring them, understand that they have their own ways to find the answers. This might take them to more dangerous situations. So let we be their best friends, but at the same time, they should realize that they are answerable for the mistakes that are repeated. Let our children start learning and continue their dreams with us. Thank you.
On the next question, our experts shall be discussing on a concept that is deceptively similar, I might say. How can parents distinguish between regular signs of mood swings and symptoms of depression among adolescents?
Mood swings are natural in the time of adolescence, but the parents should distinguish whether that mood swings is really the adolescent mood swings or it can be linked to depression. Let's focus on the adolescent's depression symptoms. First one is the change in mood. The change in mood is usual. I already told you, it's usual in the time of adolescence, but if it is a symptom of depression, it will be drastic, like anger change to sadness, sadness to irritability, like this. The second one is the change in the behavior pattern, like sleeping or eating, less intake of food or over intaking of food, can't sleep or sleep continuously for a long time like this. So if you notice like this, you should take care of your kid. The third thing and the main thing is the change in the thought pattern, but it is very difficult to identify because the thought pattern is completely personal and it happens inside the human being. The thought patterns include the feeling of hopelessness, worthlessness, and tendency for withdrawal from the friendship or family relationships like this. And also, the suicidal ideation is also a symptom of depression. So, if you notice anything like this, don't hesitate to seek help from a mental health professional.
The next question is something I guess that we have discussed earlier, and something that is just in furtherance of that concept. But to be very honest, it's something our modern lifestyle has forced us to do. The quarantine, this pandemic situation has led us into a state where these adolescents have disrupted sleeping patterns and a lot of eating disorders. So let's analyze how far an influence does disrupted sleeping patterns and eating disorders have on the mental health of these adolescents.
The human body can often be compared to a machine. If the machine is looked after well, it gives good service. Similarly, one has to look after one's health in order to live long and have many productive years of life. To lead a healthy lifestyle, the time 24 hours in a day may be divided into 3 equal parts: 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest and sleep, and the remaining 8 hours for personal living. Regularly not getting enough sleep leads to chronic sleep deprivation. This can have dramatic effects on a teenager's life, impacting their mental well-being, increasing their risk of depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. It can also have effects on academic performance. Thank you.
From a very young age, most of us have role models, and in many of the cases, it's our parents. But as times pass by, our relations start to drift, and eventually, a new member enters our households. Well, you said it, gadgets. And as times pass by, we get addicted to these gadgets and then lose our sense of purpose and direction in life. Now, let's analyze in detail the concept of how sense of perfection and direction in life is lost by the addiction to such gadgets.
The gadgets are a child's best friend. It is through these gadgets he sees the world outside. He creates a virtual world outside. Already in the present context, many have isolated themselves from the physical world. So it is these gadgets who fill up that color, who fill up that emotions and become a part and parcel of their life. And it becomes ingrained into the life of a child. With the gadgets, he creates virtual families, he creates virtual friends, he creates virtual relationships. And he is with the gadget as right from that first thing that he does in the morning is being with the gadget till he goes to bed. As a result, a teen often isolates himself from the physical world, and this gadget fills up that void. But this gadget provides an instant solution for him, which is at the tip of a fingertip, which in a real world he may not get an instant solution. But because of the gadgets, what happens? He develops slowly a dislike. If not a dislike, at least he feels to stay away from the real world, which he feels is less colorful than anything else.
This is it. This is something that my friends can relate. This is something that all of you who are watching this video can relate. That one thing that has destroyed the lives of many children. That one thing that has destroyed the ambitions of these children. Comparison. Now, let's understand how detrimental can constant comparison and criticism be on a child's performance.
Good morning, Karthik. Thank you for your question. I feel that it's not good to criticize and compare a growing child because it will have a detrimental effect in later life. Many studies have testified to this fact because the imprint a negative criticism leaves on the mind of a child is immense, and it can make or mar the child. So, it's good to give some encouragement, it's good to correct a child, but it's not good to unnecessarily criticize and compare a sibling with another sibling, as many parents unfortunately do. What is needed is to motivate a child, and this motivation, even if he does something wrong, try to help him out. Try to tell him what is good in him, and then this will help in bringing out a perfect individual.
So, hence, parents should grab hold of the situation, understand their children, spend some valuable time with them, and then make them feel to love what you do and do what you love.